coming up towards 7:33 in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, let's change the dialogue completely from the politics to something very different. Trinidad and Tobago Endometriosis Association. It's a non-profit organization founded in 2012. Endometriosis, for those who may not be aware, and many of you will not be aware, it's a complex hormonal and immunological disease in which uterine tissue grows in other areas of the body apart from the uterus. So we're talking about women here. 1 in every 8 to 10 women suffers from endometriosis, and an estimated 176 million are afflicted worldwide. At home, statistics show that 35,000 girls and women are afflicted in Trinidad and Tobago. That's 1 in 10. We're joined now by the president of the association, Ttea, to give us some more information on this particular disease, and also the fact that there's going to be some greater levels of awareness on the matter coming up over the next couple of days. Good morning to you. Good to have you on the program.
Thanks for having me.
For those who, if you could just break it down a bit, you know, because that sort of description of endometriosis sounds very technical.
Right.
And from what I understand, you're a patient yourself. How debilitating, how much of a problem is endometriosis?
Oh, it's very, very problematic. What you have happening, simply put, endometriosis is the uterine tissue growing in other parts of the body. I mean, once you have that, there'll be a lot of problems, a lot of complications, a lot of adhesions, a lot of scar tissue developing. And of course, once that starts happening, then the body will respond to it because it's something foreign. It should not be there. By nature, given the nature of the disease, if it is not treated with early, it can really progress to an extensive extent, and the patient can be really incapacitated. So with respect to me, and I suppose most endometriosis patients, we have like a 3-week month instead of a 4, because that month when our cycle is on us, we cannot do anything because we are incapacitated. From, let's say, about 2 days before, you start feeling mild pain. And when it's actually on you, there's nothing that you can do, nothing. It incapacitates
excruciating
you.
Pain.
Excruciating, debilitating pain. And initially it may be concentrated, let's say, for a week, but then it can progress for longer periods.
Is it treatable?
Yes, it is treatable, but there's no cure. It is treatable. You can treat it medically using hormonal treatment as well as surgically. It is recommended that excision is the best method for endometriosis.
Excision meaning?
Excision surgery,
right,
where you go in, where the doctors go in, and they actually remove the tissues that should not be there.
Okay, and as far as the ability of sufferers of endometriosis to bear children, is that a challenge as well?
It is no secret that endometriosis affects a woman's fertility. Not all though, but it is one of the issues associated with endometriosis, female sexual and reproductive health. And
what is the level of awareness in Trinidad and Tobago as far as people being aware of their condition and getting treatment, or being made aware of what they can or cannot do?
As I would normally say, it is one of our best kept secret, public health secret in Trinidad and Tobago. I guess given the nature of it, women tended not to talk about it. Hence the reason we theme our seminars this year, demystifying endometriosis. Because when you tell people that you have endometriosis, the first thing they tend to ask is, what is that? They don't know, right? So then you have to explain to them, okay, is that? And then they would say, okay, well, you know, perhaps I know someone who has that. And that's the other thing. Some women have it and they don't even know that they have it. For doctors, it would be demystifying for them. It will be mystifying for them in the sense that what is the best method or best way to treat this disease? Because it's a very complex and puzzling disease. And for us, endo patients, what we want really to find out is how to manage it and how to cope with it. Because what treatment works today may not necessarily work tomorrow.
And as we're talking about demystifying, because that is the theme, there's one of the seminars comes up on Saturday. Let me just give the information for the general public. Saturday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at Amphitheatre A of the Eric O. Williams Medical Sciences Complex. And there's also going to be one in Tobago on the 9th. That's Monday the 9th, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Lecture Room Division of Infrastructure and Public Utilities at Shore Park, at the Old Government Farm Road at Shore Park in Scarborough. And I understand that she wasn't able to join us because she hasn't arrived in the country as yet. Deborah Bush from New Zealand, who's a real person who's championed awareness of endometriosis. What is going to be discussed at these seminars at Eric Williams Medical Sciences and at the Division of Infrastructure and Public Utilities?
Okay, with respect to the seminar in Trinidad on Saturday, we have 3 speakers lined up. We have Miss Nikki Crosby. Everybody knows her. She's an endometriosis patient. She's going to give her testimonial with regard to living with endometriosis. And she does an excellent job, because last year when we had it, so many women were enlightened and edified about it, you know. They didn't know that, okay, apart from the medical issue, there's also the gender issue, there's also the labor issue, you know, there's also the psychological and emotional issues that are associated with the disease. We have Dr. Martin Trotman. He will be talking about the importance of diagnosis and its consequences, because that's one of the problems associated with endometriosis, is that there's a delay in diagnosis, 8 to 10 years delay. And I mean, after it has progressed, it has gone undiagnosed for that length of time, then when the patients are diagnosed, then it tends to be, treatment is not as effective as, and they tend
to... As it was picked up earlier.
Yeah. So early diagnosis is the key. It is critical. And then we have Ms. Deborah Bush. She is the CEO of Endometriosis New Zealand Foundation. She's also the ambassador of the World Endometriosis Society. She's the only non-medic on that board, and she'll be providing for us evidence-based solutions. So there's something to look forward to.
And what's happening is it going to be the same format in Tobago?
It's same format in Tobago. It's the first time we are having one in Tobago. So with respect to, Nikki will be there. Nikki Crosby will be there, and she'll be giving her testimony as well. Senator Dr. Victor Wheeler, he will be doing, which is the major difference, instead of stressing the importance of diagnosis, he would be given an overview of endometriosis.
And are these 2 sessions open to the general public?
It is open to the general public, and we are really urging women to come out, women and girls to come out, because it's something you need to know about. A lot of women don't know about it. We are asking persons to go up on our Facebook page, Trinidad and Tobago Endometriosis Association Facebook page, where there's a link for registration. We are asking them if they could to pre-register for the event. However, if there's some reason and you cannot pre-register, then come.
Okay, because that's what I was going to ask. Obviously, you have to cater, knowing how many people are coming.
Yes.
So there's no deadline per se for registration?
No, there's no deadline per se for registration. But why we be asking persons to pre-register to secure your seats is that seats are limited at the event, as well as the event is being catered for in terms of refreshment.
Absolutely.
So we need to have a account beforehand.
And as you talk about contact information, the Facebook page, is there like a website or an email address or a telephone contact as well?
With regard to registering for the seminar, they can contact us, the public can contact us at tteaevents@gmail.com. The association email is endoassoc.tt@gmail.com. We have 2 telephone contacts, 720-3560 and 333-3793.
Okay, so let me just repeat that information again. 720-3560, 333-3793. It's tteaevents@gmail.com, and the email address endoassoc.tt@gmail.com for that information. You've had a session like this previously in Trinidad last year.
Yes.
And coming out of that, has that helped to shape the dialogue that you're going to have this time around?
Yes, and I think we have really made some progress in terms of raising awareness, because what we have happening is that at one of our local schools there's an awareness group, which is really, really good, as well as we are also partnering with another non-profit, Optimus International, San Fernando, and we are keeping an awareness seminar for secondary school students only. One of the things women want, they're interested in, and we found this out at the last seminar, is how do we cope with this disease? Is no matter what they have tried, if it is effective, it is not effective for a very long time. So they want answers. They want answers.
Are there answers out there? Because I mean, the question I'm asking myself is that, is this something a woman, a girl, has to basically say, I just need to be able to have to understand that this is something I have to cope with for the rest of my life, and there's never going to be any complete and absolute relief from this debilitating pain?
Well, there's no easy answer to that. There are researchers who are doing their research and, you know, of course, trying to make...
and medical science is always advancing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have advances in those areas. But the key is that to catch it early, to really catch it early. So if you know someone who is experiencing, you know, that type of excruciating, incapacitating, debilitating pain, get a doctor, get a gynecologist, so that you will undergo treatment, and the treatment tend to be more effective. Persons who have had it for a very long time, they have to have consultations with their doctors for the best approach to this disease. Sometimes a person may have to undergo several surgeries.
Is the medical profession, I mean, it's not about beating up on doctors or anything like that, but has the medical profession been able to offer an enlightened perspective on this, in the sense of, you know, because one of the experiences of many patients of different ailments is that they find that they're being taken for test after test after test after test, different doctors, without getting a clear diagnosis. Is that a similar experience for endometriosis sufferers?
I think more so for endometriosis sufferers, but it's something that we cannot blame doctors for, given the nature of the disease, because the only how it is confirmed is via surgery. You go in, you do surgery, you take a piece of the tissue and you biopsy it, and that's the only way it is confirmed.
And of course, that's probably a last option. And for many people, they prefer not to.
They prefer not to, and sometimes that is the problem. That's the problem right there, you know. But, you know, you can't fault someone for not wanting to undergo a surgery, because surgery involves many risks.
And how do we compare globally as far as the statistics? Because the numbers we have suggest as many as 35,000 girls and women are afflicted in Trinidad and Tobago, which would be probably somewhere around 1 in 10. Any data available as to how that compares with other countries in the world? Are we high? Are we low? Are we just about average?
No, I would think how we usually work it out, we use a 1 in 10 ratio, and I think it's based on the female population within a certain range. So let's say from what we did, we used the World Health Organization definition of reproductive age. So that's from basically from age 15 to 49. So you use that number of women within that range, and you use the formula to work it out. So I think all other countries would have followed along that lines. Before we conclude,
Ms. Tusen, let's remind everybody again about the two seminars. It's Demystifying Endometriosis. The first is going to be held on Saturday. That will be at the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex, Amphitheater A. What time is it going to be from again? 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And then on Monday, it's going to be at the lecture room at the Division of Infrastructure and Public Utilities from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And that's going to be on Monday in the Sister Isle of Tobago. Key speakers, Nikki Crosby will be involved as someone who will be giving her own testimonials. There'll be different perspectives offered as well by the keynote speaker, Deborah Bush, who is the CEO of Endometriosis New Zealand and ambassador of the World Endometriosis Society. And you are urged to register, you are urged to indicate your attendance to facilitate the organizers. And again, you can call 720-3560-333-3793.
I think one of the things the public would be interested to note is that we received approval from the Ministry of Education for secondary school students to attend seminars, particularly one in Trinidad on Saturday.
All right, and just very, very quickly before we conclude, the people will be able to ask questions, the floor will be open at times to ask questions.
Yes, and after Ms. Bush's presentation, there will be an open forum. So that's the question and answer segment.
Because that's so very important.
Yeah,
people will want
that's
to
critical. That is very
questions.
critical.
Absolutely. Mr. Ttea, thanks very much for coming in this morning. When we come back after the break, we'll give you the opportunity to comment on some of the issues that we've discussed earlier this morning.